No, no, we're not doing
So,
this.
dude, come on. For
No.
me, for me, for me. Please. Please. Okay. All right. So, you remember the other day when we were at Magic Kingdom? Okay. You remember that?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was
We're over there. Went on like
that's
Little
crazy.
Mermaid ride. It was awesome, fantastic, wonderful. And so we decided that
We
we
waited 50
want.
minutes for a 3-minute ride. What kind of vacation
Yeah,
is this?
dude, it's freaking. It was the freaking Little Mermaid. Okay, it was a Little Mermaid, and yeah.
Just go on.
Okay, all right. Anyways, okay. Get this. All right. So we were going over, and we were like in Frontierland. All right, and so we decide we're
Little
going
Mermaids
to.
in Fantasyland.
Different part of the park, dude. Different. It was a different story. That was like the point where it was like for you to remember the time.
Oh
the whole
yeah,
time
no.
So we were in. See now you Frontierland. Okay, Frontierland. All right, and so we decided that we would grace Tom Sawyer's Island with our presence. So we decided that
We
were
got
going to take
stuck there. That was the only thing that had less than a 20-minute line without a fast pass.
Yes, because it was spring break. And whose idea was it going in spring break? Yours. Thank you very much.
You know,
Anyways,
I thought there was gonna be girls at Typhoon Lagoon. My bad. College week was the week before.
dude, everybody knows spring break was the week before, at least for America. We had a ton. We had a ton. I mean, like a ton of people from the UK. I don't know why. I don't know why. But there was just like people everywhere.
Okay, that was one good thing. Remember, we got those
Everywhere.
chicks to think that was a nude beach. The parents don't like that. Okay, you were saying we're on Tom Sawyer's
See,
Island.
so we were going over to Tom Sawyer's Island, all right? And you know, there's that little like the boat thing, the little raft with the little like stick thing they use to steer it to go around like the different obstacles. And so we were going over there, all right? And all of a sudden, there was like this stench, this stench, like
That was popcorn.
emanating. No. Remember, there was popcorn. There was like the stench emanating from the back of the raft. Okay, so I go up, all right, and I talk to the cast member. I'm like, okay, now there is something on the back of the boat that is just it's messing with my nasal senses right now.
He wasn't
Okay?
that big. He was way more blunt.
And so we decided that whenever we stopped at Tom Sawyer's Island, we actually got there. We got there, and they stopped. They had to they went and climbed around the back. I was really hoping someone would fall off, but nobody did, fortunately. But okay, they did. Apparently, there was a dead shark stuck behind the little movie thing.
It wasn't a shark. It was a dog.
Movie thing.
Two ducklings also. It was quite sad.
Steer it. And so we're over there, and we get stuck in there because we can't move yet because they haven't opened the little gate thing.
We actually still were moving.
So what we had to stay there in that horrifying, disgusting. Like I'm surprised I'm still here. I really am surprised I'm still here. That's how bad it smelled. It smelled like you know your grandmother's house, okay? When she hasn't cleaned it
That's
in a
why.
few weeks. Yeah.
Still why.
Yes. It was like that, only worse. So after that whole fiasco, we decided we get up, okay? And there was like kids everywhere. Like I kid you not. Like I was stepping. You had to step on a kid.
There's like 12.
There was everywhere.
You made it a challenge.
Everywhere. And so what we decided to do is we went around and we were climbing up. And like in Tom Sawyer's Island, you're supposed to go off the path. Okay, you're supposed to blaze your own trail.
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Awesome. And
they also call it breaking the rules.
And so what I decided to do, he was just off on the side, just looking at me the whole time, being like, "What the crap are you doing?" I decided I was gonna start building a tree fort. It was awesome. Okay, so we just started I was just grabbing wood. You know, like there was wood all underneath the trees, and I was just grabbing it, getting some good like planks, some foundation.
I swear he was trying to recreate the Tarzan house over here.
What I did was I climbed up in a tree with all my wood. So like I was holding my wood right here and I was climbing up the tree one-handed, which was awesome. And it was like a tall tree. It was really tall. And so like I got halfway up. I'm like, this is a good spot.
Yeah, he didn't do that alone. It was a really short tree, and he tied sticks to squirrels.
Yes. And so when we got there, I started laying them out like in a little to make a floor, and then this squirrel. One of the squirrels It was just up there randomly. I don't know why it was up there.
He
Didn't
called
help
it
me.
up there. He called it Mr. Squeakers.
It didn't help me at all.
He tried
With
talking
wood.
to it squirrel.
No,
What'd you say?
not at all.
Squeaker, squeakus, squeakum, squeakus.
His name was Mr. Squiggly Squickmon. Okay, thank you very much for the record.
It's just because it was International Week, wasn't it?
And so, what happened was he decided that Mr. Sqeekers just started attacking me up there, and like it was like on my face and just be like all over, like with the like alien style.
I
like,
swear I had
alien
rabies.
style, and it was like going on it and like trying to freak me out. So I was like, oh my god, get off me, holy crap, and he was just
it was much high pitched than that. And
this
that
guy,
was, yeah, it was
he
great.
was down there the whole time, just laughing, just laughing willy-nilly, just like, ha.
The best part was
care.
security joined me for that laugh. It was great.
And so thankfully, because this guy wouldn't do anything, the security came and
Are you there?
they climbed up with me
They
to
didn't
get
really
the
climb
squirrel off my face.
He was 5 feet off
my
the ground.
face.
They just pulled him down.
And so what they decided to do afterwards, which I thought was horrible. Okay, they took the squirrel. The poor Mr. Sqeekers. They took him.
That was
They
animal
just
control.
took him away.
That's what they have to do.
And they took him. And
If the squirrel attacks you still, it's...
He was my best friend. I made that whole day. And he was best friend. I made all day. And so when I saw him leaving, when he was being dragged, maliciously dragged, with the look on their faces like, I'm gonna get this thing out of here right now.
They were really upset.
They
weren't getting paid overtime.
And then they grabbed me, and they grabbed me. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. At least they had the decency of allowing me to accompany Mr. Sqeekers to his fun resting place, which...
Oh, man.
And so they took me, and we had to go back across the little lake thing, but on the raft, we had our own VIP raft and everything. It was awesome.
It was also motored, and they took us to backstage.
And it was really cool, because they had the decency of taking Mr. Sqeekers and myself back behind everything.
This was truly
so the general public wouldn't bust out crying because Mr. Sqeekers was going to be gone.
They didn't want them to cry because they were laughing way too hard at this point.
And so when we got back there, all right, we get back there, and there's this big building, just like this portable, like one of those buildings that's just there. It's just there. It's kind of out of place. It was weird. And there's
really
that
small.
one door, that one tiny door that I don't know.
It was 5 feet wide. They have to keep it ECV accessible.
I don't see how people fit through that thing simply because of how small it was.
He tried doing it 3 people at a time.
Somehow, we finally all got there, after an hour of someone had to get a plunger and was trying to push us through the door. It was bad. So we finally get inside, and it's like an iceberg in there. I kid you not, an iceberg. Somebody left.
It's Florida during
AC
spring break. What do you expect it to be?
Holy crap.
It's 120 outside. What do you think it's going to be inside?
It did not need to be that cold. It was like 24.5 degrees there. Roughly.
78.
I'm guesstimating. But I was freezing my nose off.
He had
it was
frostbite.
Ridiculous. So what they do is they take us to this little room. There's another door, of course, another tiny door that nobody can fit through. And so they cram us in here, and it's this room that's I kid you not, they take 2 feet and triple it. And that was the dimensions of the sides of the wall. And they expect to fit me, Mr. Sqeekers, who is now in a cage right next to me, and I'm trying everything I can to not let him free. I kid you not, it took me the patience of a mongoose to not just jump on the table and start ripping the cage off.
For one, it was 20 by 30 cafeteria. 2, they gave you food. 3, Mr. Sqeekers was dead at that point.
And so, Mr. Sqeekers, look at this guy over here. He keeps on trying to tell me that he's dead. I said he's not dead. He's just taking a nap. taking a gentle nap.
Oh, that was the
before
best
he
part
goes.
after that. Do you want to tell them that part where you tried to bring him back to life?
Yes. So he's over here trying to convince me,
Still
thinking
laughing,
I'm like
actually.
an idiot, thinking that I'm an idiot, that Mr. Sqeekers is dead. And so when I decided, I'm like, no, I refuse to play your silly mind games. So what I did is I went over and decided I was gonna wake Mr. Sqeekers up. Okay, so what I did was I took a Cheeto. Don't tell me where you're gonna Cheeto, because I didn't know where you're gonna Cheeto. A Cheeto, okay? And I started like poking Mr. Sqeekers' nose with it. And he got like that little orange stuff on his nose. And oh my gosh, it was the cutest thing ever.
It really
But like,
stupid.
he sleeps like a rock. I kid you not. He sleeps like a rock.
Still
Because I took that Cheeto. I was poking his nose with it, trying to get him to wake up.
Still on there, roommate.
He was still out. He was like asleep. Dead asleep, okay? Until security, again, freaking security, every time, sees me trying to wake Mr. Sqeekers up with a delicious Cheeto.
They were laughing their asses off at that point also.
So they came over, and they actually had the gall to take my Cheeto. Number one, you do not take.
They put it in the trash can.
This gets Cheeto.
Kind of infested.
I love Cheetos.
With squirrel germs.
Cheetos.
That can't be sanitary.
Get some. And so, they took my Cheeto away from me, number one. And they decided to separate me from Mr. Sqeekers. They took Mr. Sqeekers away. And at that point, I had grown a very strong bond with Mr. Sqeekers. I had seen him napping. You never see an animal nap unless it really, truly trusts you.
You know, the only thing you guys had in common was the same disease of rabies.
I take offense to that. I truly do. I'm
hurt. Let me rephrase that. You have a little part of Mr. Sqeekers in your body at all times now.
I will always have a part of Mr. Sqeekers in my heart.
Till the ibuprofen kicks in.
In my heart. Because Mr. Sqeekers, you have inspired me. Mr. Sqeekers inspired me to live a better life and to live for others. Because that is what Mr. Sqeekers would have wanted. That's what Mr. Sqeekers would have wanted. And so after that, then they started talking to me. I don't know what they were saying. I was
they were reading him his Miranda rights.
Whatever, it was cool.
Telling him how they're gonna take him to the mouse house.
And so I was just like, yeah, I was just agreeing. They're the fuzz. They're the fuzz.
They're actually the mouse security. They're hired. They're hiring police.
You never question the authority whenever they're trying to tell you something. You just,
actually, they asked, do you want any questions?
Totally. Absolutely. I agree. Don't send me to jail. I agree. That's like exactly what I was saying. And I was doing it perfectly. Like, facing everything. It was spot on.
Now thinking about it, we should have had them send us to jail. If we would have probably been in Toontown, and the bars we could have just pulled apart.
Why didn't you think that before?
I was still laughing my ass off at that point.
Do you see this? Do you see him? Do you see why I can't take him anywhere? Because he doesn't do anything.
You can't take me anywhere.
I am the one who had to talk to the 5-0 about the whole thing.
We're not in Hawaii.
Get it all straightened out. We're in Florida. It's Florida 5-0, man. Florida 5-0. And so I had to get the whole thing straightened out. And, eventually, finally, after, I kid you not, we spent half the day that we went in there with the sun up high in the sky. And we came out. It was down below the horizon. And here in Florida, there's no mountains. It was down below the horizon.
Yeah, there are.
So
there's forests.
Finally.
The trees block the hills. Also, you have Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain. Expedition Everest is technically a mountain. And what more mountains do you want?
Fine. It went behind Space Mountain. Space Mountain. I apologize. I stand corrected. My bad. I'm sorry. So, it took me after who knows how long of talking to these policemen that they finally let me off with only it wasn't even a ticket. It wasn't. You know,
I swear, those guys are too soft. They gave us 2 fast passes for Winnie the Pooh.
It was actually quite a pleasant conversation. They were remember it was Fred he had his wife.
Yeah.
His wife was unfortunately she hurt her wrist. She was unable to do her job, her part-time job. And so we were trying to console him, and give him some advice of going through life. But
She
they
was
were
a
nice.
stalker.
We need to.
Not like the stalker, like, boop, 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 but stalker, like, it was sad.
We should email him.
We should.
Email him. He was cool.
Yeah.
It was good. And so that was our day. That a couple days ago over at Magic Kingdom. It was quite eventful, as you could tell. And Mr. Sqeekers, wherever you are, you'll always be with me.
Okay, this is okay.